And we are back. It is time for some rankings of NBA point guards. I'm probably going to mess some stuff up. I'm probably going to say some stuff that might make you mad. But at the end of the day, we're going to have some fun. We're going to put some rankings in. And you know what? I'm really excited for this. It's the off season. We need some content. It's going to be a series. We're going point guard through center. But today, we're going to have some fun. We're going to rank some point guards. So, here we go. See, we have S tier through F tier. This is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said in the beginning in the intro, I may make some people upset. I may have some hot takes that are agreeable, but at the end of the day, drop it in the comments if you agree, if you disagree. We're just all having fun here. I'm a basketball fanatic. I'm sure you are as well if you're watching this. We have the 30 NBA teams projected 2023 starting point guards. S tier through F tier, a little bit of criteria here. This isn't like super statistical based. It's honestly how fun they are to watch, how much they make their team better, and honestly just my opinion. So at the end of the day, if you disagree with something, if you would change something up, please do. We are going to go through this. I have not done this. I have not looked at this. I have just jumped on here, and we are doing this at the same time. So without further ado, let's start with Mr. LaMelo Ball. I'm throwing LaMelo in the A tier. When it comes to the criteria I just listed, he is a point guard that if the Charlotte Hornets did not have last year or even going into this season, I have no idea how good the Hornets would be. And his fun factor, whatever we want to call that, I don't know if that's like a legit stat, but it is for this video. It is through the roof when it comes to LaMelo Ball. So LaMelo Ball, A tier point guard for the Charlotte Hornets. Using the similar criteria that I was talking about when it comes to fun factor, how much they make their team better, Mike Conley is an interesting one. I'm going to have to put Mike Conley on the C tier. Again, specific criteria. Who knows if he's going to be in Utah next season. If Utah does have Mike Conley, I'm sure he will make them better. I don't know how fun Mike Conley is to watch in this part of his career at the tail end, but on this list, my list, Mike Conley C tier. De'Aaron Fox, B tier. I think he's right in between what Conley brings, what LaMelo brings. Fox has been on the Kings for a couple seasons. They've kind of been at the same place when it comes to the NBA, which is not making the playoffs since I was 3 years old. Again, not De'Aaron Fox's fault, but I'm going to go with B tier for the 2023 season going into this. Jalen Brunson's an interesting one. We haven't had the New York Knicks have a, I don't want to say star when it comes to Brunson, but we haven't seen the New York Knicks have a exciting point guard going into a season in a long time. I think I'm going to put Brunson on the B tier for this list. Oh, boy. Russell Westbrook is a really interesting one because like I said with Mike Conley, I have no idea if Russell Westbrook is going to be the Lakers' starting point guard for next season. But regardless, his fun factor is kind of always going to be the same. When he's doing well, he's excited. When he's not doing well, he's still over the top. But Russell Westbrook, when it comes to making his team better, I'm not a Westbrook hater by any means. I know there's a lot of memes, a lot of critics out there when it comes to Russell Westbrook, but I still think that he could be a quality starting point guard on an NBA team. I'm going to put Russell Westbrook on the C tier for right now. I'm coming back at this list at the end of all of this just to kind of make sure that everything's where I want it to be, but Russell Westbrook, C tier point guard. Markelle Fultz, I'm going C tier again. I don't know if he's going to take a leap. We've been wanting and hoping that Markelle Fultz takes that leap for a while now, but I'm going to keep Markelle at C tier for right now. The next one, obvious choice. If Luka's categorized as a point guard, which he should be, is an S tier point guard. Luka is one of the future players of the NBA. The dude's a stud. The Mavericks have such a generational talent. I have to go S tier when it comes to Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving's really interesting because his fun factor through the roof. Making his team better, hot take. When was the last time we saw Kyrie Irving make an NBA team better? I feel like I just got like really serious when I said that, but think about it. I mean, the Cavs maybe, but he had LeBron, and LeBron is like, he makes almost every team that he's on a championship contender. So when it comes to Kyrie, I think I'm going to put Kyrie, this might be crazy, but B tier point guard going into the 2023 season. Oh, I might regret that. I'm coming back to that. But Jamal Murray, this one's fun. We have not seen Jamal Murray hoop in a while. So having back-to-back MVP Jokic as his center, Jamal Murray is setting himself up to have a pretty fun season. So I think I'm going to put Jamal Murray as a B-tier point guard going into this season. Tyrese Halliburton is another interesting one to think about here because we haven't seen Reese do a ton when it comes to his season as a Pacer last year when he got traded from the Kings to the Pacers. We were all kind of just watching him take this step into the team that he had that made a lot of changes. It's going to look completely different for Indiana fans going into the next season. But I think I'm going to put Reese in the B tier as well, which I feel like I'm just kind of like throwing everyone in there. Making his team better. I'm making a change real quick. I'm throwing Jamal Murray into the A tier and keeping Reese B tier for the moment, okay? Tyrese Maxey is another fun option. I really, really believe that James Harden should have been the starting point guard here. I think Reese is going to be playing the 2 guard, which is kind of weird that they would have Reese here. James Harden totally would have been an A tier when it comes to point guard. I think he's going to take a huge leap for the next season. But for this list, we have Reese. I think I'm going to put Tyrese Maxey. I'm going to put him on the B tier right next to Tyrese Halliburton, funny enough. I think those two are going to have super interesting seasons, completely different teams, honestly, not super similar styles of play by any means, but I think they're both going to bring B quality. Starting point guard, again, if Harden's going to play the 1, if Tyrese Maxey's going to play the 1, we don't really know, but I'm going to put both of them on the B tier for right now. CJ McCollum, a starting point guard, which is super fun on this Pelicans team that we are all hoping has a healthy Zion Williamson. With that team, with B.I., a defensive machine, and Herb Jones. Timeout. If you don't know who Herb Jones is, and you are an NBA fan, maybe not a super fan, you're just curious about the NBA, go to YouTube and type in Herb Jones defensive highlights. It is just through the roof how fun his defense is for me. And if you were to watch any of the playoffs last year, Herb Jones definitely proved his defense prowess when it comes to who he is and what we expect from him. But CJ McCollum going into next season, I'm really excited to see him facilitate and orchestrate this Pelicans crazy offensive system. I'm gonna throw CJ for the moment. I'm gonna throw CJ here on the A tier. I think him with Zion and BI, I think he's gonna have a crazy fun season as a facilitating point guard and a scoring point guard for when he's needed. Jaden Ivey, the rookie, is a fun one. We don't know much about Ivey except that he is explosive. He is fun to watch, but making a team better, I'm not really sure. This is another interesting one because you could argue that Cade Cunningham is going to be playing the 1 guard here, as Cade kind of proved himself as a really great facilitator. Ivey as a potential bucket could be a 2. But Ivey is the point guard on this list. I think I'm going to put him at the C tier for the moment being. It's funny because I don't know how many D or F tiers we're going to have here. Not many. The point guard position in the NBA is pretty stacked at the moment, which is a lot of fun. But Freddie Van Vliet, the Raptor himself, awesome story. A Wichita State shocker, which is a ton of fun. But I'm going to put Fred Van Vliet on the B tier And then we have the one and only Kevin Porter Jr. for the Houston Rockets. This is a fun one, but making his team better, I'm not sure about that, being completely honest. But fun tier definitely keeps him out of the D tier. So I'm going to put my guy right here on the C tier for a interesting young Rockets team. Okay, this next one's going to be tough because if you don't know, I am a diehard San Antonio Spurs fan. But Mr. Jones here as a starting point guard is interesting. I don't know if the Spurs, because they have a super, super young roster, potentially could be the worst team in basketball next season. I don't know if they're going to be starting Josh Primo or if they're going to be starting Trey Jones. But for this being, I think I'm going to put Jones at the D tier because he's not super exciting. His assist to turnover ratio, like his brother, crazy. If you haven't looked up that stat, the Jones brothers, when it comes to their assist to turnover ratio, is like NBA record worthy. It is actually crazy. But starting point guard, he's got to be my only D tier at the moment. We have Chris Paul, A tier. Point guard. He's on a Suns team that is super fun to watch. I think we're coming off a bad playoff performance. Shout out Luka Doncic. But I think that Chris Paul is an A tier point guard. He's fun to watch. He makes his teams better, keeping him at the A tier. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is our next one. I think Shai is going to have an interesting season. I was really excited to watch the Thunder this year with Chet Holmgren, but after the announcement of him being out for the season with his injury, which is super unfortunate, rest up. Hope you get healthy, Chet. I have to go with Shai being a... Oh, man. This is hard. I had to go with Shai being an A-tier point guard. I think that he makes the Thunder much, much better. He is... Is it weird to say that Shai might be underrated at this point? I don't really know. I'm putting Shai at the A tier. And then we're going on to D'Angelo Russell. Man, this is tough. He's got a new twin tower with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns over there in Minnesota. I think he makes the team better. I don't know how much of a lob creator we classify D'Angelo Russell as, but I don't see D'Lo as a C-tier point guard on this list, so I got to go B tier. I'm going B tier here. Dame Dalla. That one's interesting. Dame Dalla coming off of a season where he didn't play many games, having an abdominal injury, but he's still fun. I gotta put Dame going into 2023 season as an A-tier point guard. Steph Curry, no words needed. S tier. Probably the greatest point guard of all time. If you want to argue Magic Johnson to me, I get it. But Curry is insane just off of a championship going into another season. S-tier point guard, Steph Curry. Drew Holiday. Let's have a conversation about Drew Holiday real quick. If you are only a statistical watcher when it comes to the NBA, Drew Holiday, impressive, but not going to blow your mind. I'm going to go ahead and put Drew Holiday on the A tier because what he brings to the Milwaukee Bucks is incredible. He is a defensive machine, plays basketball at a competitive level every night, facilitates for Giannis, facilitates for Middleton, makes Bobby Portis look like an NBA All-Star sometimes. So I got to put Drew Holiday at an A tier point guard. Okay. Monte Morris. This one's interesting because he's now going to be the Wizards point guard and going with Bradley Beal into the Wizards season. I got nothing to say, honestly. C-tier point guard. Hope he proves me wrong, but yeah, that's where we're throwing my guy right now. Lonzo, coming off an injury. I want Lonzo so badly to get into the B-tier point guard, but am I about to put Lonzo as a C-tier point guard? Somebody's going to fight me for that. All right, it's got it. Yeah, putting Lonzo at a C-tier point guard. Darius Garland, A-tier point guard. Darius Garland makes the Cleveland Cavaliers so fun to watch. And honestly, he makes him better as well. So I have to go Darius Garland at an A-tier point guard. Marcus Smart, DPOY. That was super exciting to see a guard win the DPOY. First one since Gary Payton, first guard. So that's super exciting. But I have to put Marcus Smart at a B-tier point guard. I know he makes the Celtics better, but I don't think that he contributes as much as Tatum and Brown to the Celtics system. And now having Brogdon come in as a backup point guard, I'll be super interested to see kind of what he brings into the 2023 season. But Marcus Smart going B tier. John Wall is going to get recency bias as a C tier point guard. I think going into the Clippers system with a hopefully healthy Kawhi and a Paul George could take that jump. We have no idea what we have left out of John Wall's career at this point, but I'm going C tier point guard. These last two are super interesting. Well, we're going to do Kyle Lowry first. Kyle Lowry, I'm putting at a B tier point guard. Makes the Heat a little bit better, contributes to that Jimmy Butler Heat culture. It's a Pat Riley Heat culture, let's be completely honest, but Jimmy Butler fits it so perfectly that he kind of is the player representation on the court at all times. But with all that being said, Kyle Lowry, B2 point guard. These last two are really difficult because I don't know if I can put them on separate tiers, but I kind of want to put Trae Young on an S tier point guard. He makes the Atlanta Hawks head and shoulders better. It was weird coming off of conference finals and then losing in the first round the way they did this past season. But I don't know if I can put both Ja and Trae Young on S tier with Luka and Curry. I have a feeling that I'm going to be rearranging a lot of these point guards at the end of this list. I have to do the due diligence of putting... Man, this is difficult. I am going to put both of... I'm putting Ja as an A tier and Trae as an S tier point guard. You may argue with me, that's totally fine, but I think this is what I'm going to put them at the moment, and I'm going to walk through this and see if I want to change anything, so give me just a minute. Okay, this is my final list. I went ahead and moved Jamal Murray down to B tier. Recency bias, we haven't seen him play. I'm projecting B tier production on a Jokic team, which is great, but I just didn't know if I could have him in A tier, and I felt like I needed to be a little more stingy when it came to the A tier. Again, this is my list, so I didn't have to do that, but I also brought CJ down because I feel like, again, it's Zion's team. It's Brandon Ingram's team. CJ will step up when he's needed, but when it comes to point guard play, I think Jamal and CJ are going to produce pretty equally. So I had to bring both of them down. But this is my list. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Let me know what you would change. Let me know why you would change it. Share this with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I will see you guys soon.